Are you asking yourself the question, where should I retire? Well, there's a lot of choices and a lot of decisions that you have to make in thinking about that. But I want to share with you today the top 10 places that International Living recommends you consider for retirement overseas. Now, we worked with International Living to put this article together for you based on the research that they have done over the years with people that are actually living in these countries and reporting back to them, contributors that they trust and who they know are living and enjoying the new lifestyle, the new culture, the new way of life there. So it's a report they put together every year. It's called the Annual Global Retirement Index. And if you are interested in getting a copy of it, you can just go out to internationalliving.com/60andme, and you can actually sign up for their daily postcards, and at the same time, they'll send you this report. I have looked at this report. It is amazing. It is so comprehensive and full of detail. The article that we have written with them that you can read below is very, in many ways, it's just an overview. Their actual report goes so much deeper. But I'm going to start with number 10, and we're going to go down to the number one choice that International Living recommends for people who are considering retiring overseas. Now, these 10 recommendations are based, as I said, on people that they trust, their contributors on the ground. So, but of course, you need to check them thoroughly, and not every place is going to be right for everybody. So if I mention one that just doesn't seem right, just wait, because the next one will be completely different and unique. But they do have some similar qualities. They're affordable. They have a lifestyle that is geared and welcoming of expats to their country. They are places where you can get great health care, where you can make friends, where you can live a life that is, it just costs less and you get more. All of these, all 10. So who are they? What are they? And by the way, I'm Margaret Manning with 60andme, and we've been working with International Living now for some time, and I really personally have used their resources, and I can personally give a credibility to what they've got to offer. So here is number 10. Now this is one that I wouldn't have thought of, but a lot of people are going there, and it's turning out to be a wonderful experience for them. It's Vietnam. Now, Vietnam is a modern and progressive country. Of course, it's had lots of challenges over the years, and that's part of the amazing features about a lot of these places. They have got history. They have, been through so many different times in their history that have enriched them, and they have grown. So ancient historic sites, but also very modern infrastructure. It's got some of the most amazing beaches. Rugged mountains, valleys. There's so many different places to look, and the cost of living is super low. Now, if you go to Ho Chi Minh City in Hanoi, you'll find that most of the that is where the largest cities are, of course, and that's where you might find the most opportunity and choice. But there is so much in other parts of the country. So I recommend you take a look at Vietnam. It might be one that you might consider. The second one is number 9. Where's number 9? France. France is one you might go, Margaret. France is not inexpensive, it's not, that's not a good choice, but it is. And of course, if you're going to look at the big cities like Paris and Lyon and those types of, Dijon, those are places where the rates and rents are going to be higher. But France has really got all the ingredients that you need for a great life. I mean, I've traveled to France quite a bit. I have friends there, and every time I go, I just love it. The food, the culture, the fashion, the ambience. It's just got a feeling about it. And of course, anywhere you live in France, you're very, all roads lead to Paris. So you've got that amazing, enchanting place that you can go to, to sort of add to your experience. So really beautiful, unspoiled countryside. You would be surprised how rural a lot of France is. Of course, the wine growing areas and, as you get out of the city, it's just beautiful. And so France has got a few things going for it, not least of all, their healthcare system, which is amazing. It's about, I think it was $28 for a doctor's visit. I actually had to go to the doctor's when I was in France. I got stung by a bee and I had a reaction, and it was like, I think it was like $20 to get medicine, to get someone to look at me, make sure everything was okay. Yeah, so it's one of those places that has a great healthcare system. Cost of living, you can expect, according to International Living, to spend between about $2,083, they're very specific, to $2,200 plus a month. And honestly, I think France is one of those places that people say, I don't think that's very affordable. It doesn't occur to me to go to France. Try it. Read the report. Go out to internationalliving.com and just check out this global retirement index. You'll find it very useful. And as I mentioned, it's updated every year. So these are the latest and greatest feedback from these places. So France is another one. Number 8, drum roll, is Spain. Spain. All I can think about when I think of Spain is the beautiful weather. The weather is so temperate and gorgeous down there, and there's so many amazing cities in Spain that you can base yourself on. The big draw is the warm climate. Food is super inexpensive because it's all grown locally, and the International Living says you can live for about 2,500 a month in Spain. Well, if you're going to go to Barcelona or one of the bigger cities, just go outside of them a little bit, explore just outside the cities. The train services in Spain are amazing. They cover the whole country. I've traveled from Zurich to Madrid, and then from Madrid to Barcelona, and then to Madrid, and then to Malaga. And it was just seamless and really well equipped. So you can get around. And that's cool if you're retiring and you want to travel, because you can get around beautifully on the train system. There's a really surprising range of temperatures in Spain, though. You've got the beautiful beaches, the sort of Mediterranean climate, and then you've got a little bit further north, you've got the more mountainous areas, and it's just a cooler. But it's still, the whole Andalusia area is a place I want to travel. I've never been. I'd love to go to Seville and Cordoba, but Spain is definitely on the list. Number 8. I'm going to go down my list here. Number 7. Number 7 was an interesting one to me. I'd never thought about it, which is Malaysia. Beautiful beaches, pristine rainforests, gorgeous, gorgeous geography. But did you know that they actually follow the British rules for driving? So all the road signs in Malaysia are in English and in Malay, and that makes it so much easier to get around. I know that language is always for people like, how do I live in even France without knowing the language? Well, English has become, honestly, a very global language, and you can get by easily. But that's a really cool feature in Malaysia, that you can actually drive around and the signs are in English. So it's the kind of unofficial next language. Some of these prices that International Living quotes, to get a haircut, $2.16 specifically. They're very, very detailed because they want you to know that their facts are based on data. They're not just randomly made up. They're based on data. They've got grids that compare. But in Penang, in Malaysia, you can live for about $1,800 a month. And it's really a beautiful, if you go further out of the cities a bit, the 3-bedroom apartment can rent for like $403 a month. And then traveling from Malaysia to Asia, direct flights everywhere. You can return to Bangkok in Thailand for about $40. So Malaysia is definitely somewhere to consider. Number 6 is Ecuador. Ecuador, of course, has been on the radar for many, many years. Warm weather, year-round, beaches, beautiful beaches, and it's got a really beautiful natural environment, very laid-back, culture and lifestyle. The big draw for Ecuador is the cost of living. It's just so affordable there. You can get a 2-bedroom, two bath house for about $500 a month. It's amazing. And according to International Living, I want to make sure I get these numbers right. They're about $1,600 for a couple to live in Ecuador. So the land, again, is very verdant, and lots of the plants and foods you eat are grown there. So again, inexpensive markets, and it's a very tight-knit country, apparently, very family-focused, very close to nature. And, I just one that you might want to consider. People have been going there for many, many years. So there's a very strong expat community there. And not just in Quito, which is the capital, but all over Ecuador. So that's another one to consider. Now, the one I'm going to mention next, you're going to go, what? You're kidding. And that's Colombia. Now, Colombia, the dark days have gone. It's growing in a positive way. And there are so many cities that are wonderful places to consider retiring. And as I said, go out to internationalliving.com, just sign up for their postcards, and then you'll get this report sent to you free of charge. It's really a great way of looking at these out-of-the-way places that you might have thought, no, not Colombia, or no, not the next one I'm going to mention. So you've got to there's a different program there, which is you can get a retirement visa pretty easily. You just have to prove that your annual income from Social Security is over $700, or I think it's 25 if you're coming from a pension or an IRA, because Social Security obviously lasts for your entire life. So the couple can live there, according to International Living, for about $1,000 to $1,200. It's amazing. And Colombia is ranked by the World Health Organization as number 22 on the health system, which you might say, oh, well, it's not number one, but no, it's 22, but Canada's 30. And the US is 37 on the list. So it's better in that respect, at least according to the World Health Organization. Now, number 5, and that was number 5. Now, number 4, there's another place you might say, maybe not, but it's got so much going for it, and that is Mexico. Mexico, beautiful ocean, beautiful landscape, history, ancient, beautiful culture. And, a lot of people say, no, it's dangerous, or, I don't want to particularly go there. But honestly, in the small towns, you get out of the big cities, it's just, according to many people, and I have friends who live in Mexico who love it. Medellin, Lake Chapala area, we've talked about that place before, and also San Miguel de Allende, which a lot of women are going to. Artistic community in the mountains. I think it's getting a little bit crowded up there, but again, Mexico is definitely somewhere. If your budget's about $1,500, $2,000, a good place to consider. Okay, I'm getting close to number 1. Number 3 is Costa Rica. Costa Rica is a place I've never been, no idea what it's like, but it's very affordable, it's very beautiful, and has a very strong expat community. I think a lot of Canadian people go to Costa Rica for some reason, but check it out and go out to internationalliving.com to check out how to get this report, because I'm just skimming it in a couple, in 10, 15 minutes. So Costa Rica is known as the Switzerland of Central America because it's safe, it's neutral, it's got a good banking system, and it's it's a really good place to consider if you want a more stable, just a calmer life in Central America. You need a residency permit in order to enjoy the health care, but you can combine it with private health care, about $2,000 a month for a couple, to live in Costa Rica. Maybe you've heard about it. Some places like San Jose and or beaches in Guanacaste, which it's just an amazing place. I actually did look up some pictures of it because I wasn't really relating to it, but it is gorgeous. Now, what's the next one? Number 2. Okay, we're nearly to another number 1 space, but number 2 is Panama. Panama is another place that's been on the radar for a while because it's very close to the United States. It's a culture that is used to expats. Panama City, of course, is the big place where a lot of people are drawn. But there's lots of beautiful places like in the beaches, Coronado, and the place called Bocas del Toro. And as I'm going through this, I'm like reading and thinking, I'm probably going too fast because you need time to absorb all of this. So go up to internationalliving.com and just get that report. If you sign up for the postcards, you just get this report free. Get a glass of wine or a cup of tea or coffee. Just read and just absorb and learn. But Panama is one that's really, really beautiful. It's got a very established English-speaking community. It's modern. It's convenient. It's close to the United States. You can buy land there and a house for like $150,000. And also, if you're getting income from abroad, you don't pay any income tax. And by the way, all these things quotes and numbers I'm talking about are all documented in the report. And also in the article, you'll see some names. These are who write these individual country reports. These are people who lived in Arizona and moved to Panama. People who lived in another part of the world and moved to places that they love. So that's a really important thing to consider. This is personal experience talking. Okay, number 1. Are you ready for number 1? This is the number 1 place in 2020 that International Living says you should consider retiring. Portugal. Portugal is, for me, one of my top 3 places in the world. I love it. I really do. I went there in May last year, and I stayed in Porto. I had already been in Lisbon one time for business and had a chance to look around during that trip, but this was just in Porto. I went just for a visit by myself, stayed in a hostel. I loved it. It's just so, I don't know what it is about it. I mean, it was interesting in the report about Portugal. The person said there's something just difficult to define about the place. The people are really friendly and wonderful. There's a kind of stability about the place. It's got the ocean, it's got the Douro River, which is amazing, by the way. And it's just got a sense of, it's been there, it's done that. It's welcoming of you. You feel like you've come home. I really, really love Portugal. And another thing about it is it's got a great climate. I went in May, which is sort of at the beginning of the season, obviously, and it was lovely, beautiful weather. And a lot of people are going to Porto and Lisbon, but if you go outside of those areas, then you'll start to find the real bargains. And it's not just in the northern cities like in Porto and Lisbon. You can go further south where they're on the beach. And there's places like, I'm looking at the names here, like Cascais, and of course, the Algarve, which is that beautiful ocean area. The urban areas are going to be more expensive now than the country and even the seaside. You can expect to spend up to $3,000 a month if you want to be in Porto or Lisbon. But as international living says, get out of the cities into the countryside, and you will find beautiful, beautiful places. Great healthcare system, and a really beautiful blend of a lot of new building going on there. But there's this beautiful architecture that is, tiled. Oh, goodness, the tile. If you ever go to Porto, go to the railway station in Porto. It's unbelievable, blue and white tiles all over the wall of the station, and it's just got that kind of touch everywhere that you go, in my opinion, in Portugal. That blend of permanent and timeless, and as well as modern. Really great place. I'm looking more facts here and figures, but Lisbon, you have to just go and experience it. And it's one of those places that's European, so it's got access to Spain and France and Switzerland and all these lovely other places that you might also have a desire to visit. So Portugal, I have several friends who are applying for residency visas there. If you want to work there, of course, you need that. But you can live on about 2,500 in Portugal, and of course in the cities it's more. But I would highly recommend that you take a look at these reports. In fact, International Living has got a special report on Portugal. There's another whole report that I ordered that is just brilliant on just Portugal. So, where would you like to retire? Did this help you answer that question? Where should I retire? I hope so, and I hope that you are starting to get a feeling that International Living is the place to go if you want information on any of these 10 places and more, lots more. Check them out. I love working with them because they're just real people, and I've interviewed a couple of their contributors, myself here for 60andMe, and just like the way they think. They think very realistically about retiring overseas. So, where would you like to retire? Now, personally, I lived in the States and in the UK, and I've retired in Switzerland. And but I travel to many of these places often, and I'm happy that I was able to share that with you. So tell us where you'd like to retire. Put that in the comment section below. Let's have a conversation. And thank you so much for being here, and have a wonderful day wherever you are in this beautiful, beautiful world. And let's know where you'd like to retire. Let's share. Take good care, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye for now.